Okay, we're back on our pump here. Okay, so we want to grind this cavity out here a little bit. You can see where the oil pump shaft is hitting right there, which is the end of the shaft right here. It's hitting right here. They're not concentric to the hole, they're close, but not concentric. So that was bottoming out right there, slightly off center. So now the customer wants to put this back together on the bike without fighting it too hard, which means you got to put this clip on after the pump's together, which is just about impossible to do. These things are very hard to get a hold of, and if you're right up against the back of your transmission case, which is right in here, you got about this much room. There's not a lot of room to get up in there. You definitely have to hold the shaft in the motor, which means you have to have the cam cover off. Because see, you put any pressure on the shaft, it just goes like that. And you got your two small keys here that are trying to come out of the gears also. And you're putting oil pump gaskets in here and all that. You're fighting everything. It's just a real pain. So when I put the motor together, I always put this in first and do this part last, but now I got to reverse it. So what we're going to do is, he's going to go to a snap ring style like this. Here. So you got the eyelets on it. It's a real snap ring. Instead of this one here where there's no eyelets on it. This one just, you have to just put this on your fingers. There's no eyelets. So no eyelets will work on this and clear. When you put these eyelets on there, these get pinched up in here. A lot of times you'll see the pump, you take it apart, there's a big spot like that where you got two bullseyes sitting right there. That means it got pinched. And that doesn't work very good. That usually makes the oil pump leak, and it definitely eats up on the snap ring a little bit. So what you gotta do is you gotta come in here and grind this out a little bit with a grinder, or you gotta mill it. It's not really an easy way of holding this in the milling machine. You know, it's a pretty awkward piece to hold. You have to put up some kind of a plate and pull down on the plate and then hold the plate to the mill, so pain in the butt. So I'm just going to grind it. So right now we're going to change this around. So I'm going to go ahead and put the snap ring on here so I can see how much height we got to deal with and see how much we're hitting. Then we can grind it out as needed. So same deal, you got a sharp side and a dull side. This side's the dull side. That one's the sharp side. You want to overextend these more than you have to put them on. Usually that's still too much. Let's see if we can do this without hurting anything. Kind of just fudge it up in there a little bit. You want the snap ring to be tight when you're done. If it's loose, it's no good. It'll spin. Okay, so this one here. It's on there very tight. Push it all against there. Come back just a little bit for clearance because it's going to have some clearance in it when you assemble it. You can go back and forth a little bit. And I should have put that inside the pump first. Yeah, should have. You get that on the... I'm going to put that through the hole. Alright, well. So much for doing it the easy way, huh? Take it back off. Let's see, you want to overextend these more than you have to. It's easy, only tight once. Okay, I'm going to put this on there. Put our gear on there. Don't lose your snap ring. See how it's wider than it used to be now? Oh, the gap in there, we stretched it already. Every time you do this, it gets stretched more and more and more. I go back and rebend them. I'm cheap. The Harley shafts fit tighter than aftermarket shafts. Aftermarket shaft, this thing would be spinning on there already. This one's tight. You always spin the groove a little bit, make sure it's in there good and tight. It still is. It just pinches on there really good. So the aftermarket, they're not that good. Okay, so you make that go in there like that. And you take the pump body, you lay it up on there. You can see how it's kind of hitting on it. Not all the way in. Put some alignment bolts in here so it knows where it's sitting. Like that. You go like that and spin it a little bit. Hopefully it's leaving a good mark. You see how the cover is popping up and down? That's not supposed to be moving. Let's see if we get any kind of a mark at all that we can use. That I can use? No. I don't see where it's hitting at all on it. So I know it is. See, this shaft's real high right here. This one's real low, so we're actually hitting on top of that, I think, right now. It's giving us a kind of a false number. Anyway. Well, it's just going on in that. I know the keeper's in there hitting on it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grind this out with my die grinder a little bit bigger. As long as you don't go out too much far out, you're alright. Half the gear is still fine. So I'm going to use my little bit of a ball, bigger ball end on this side. So I'm grinding like that. I'm cutting pretty good with how I want to do. Make a little bit of noise over here. I can hold this in a vise a little bit, or I can hold it by hand. We'll just see how it works by hand. Okay, where you at? Let's open up a little bit. Not a heavy amount, but it's out. Do a little bit more maybe. Yeah, this is the kind of mark we get. Okay, so go back over here. I'll go ahead and mark this with felt tips so I know where I'm at. Felt tips come in handy for doing stuff like this. It's always nice to know where you're at. So, okay, that one's all marked up. Okay. The cover's already sitting flat, which is a good thing. Should be enough mark. Okay, so we're not hitting it all through here. Oop, you can see it. And you get over here. See the shiny mark right there? That's where we're hitting right now. And we're going from this hole, we're 180 degree. We're going from here to here. So I'm going to grind that area a little bit more. We just keep doing it until it doesn't hit. Okay, just gonna grind it all out. I'm getting chips over here now because I moved my, didn't go on the other side. Oh well. Remark the pump again. Dry the ink. And we'll try it again. It's barely hitting now. Yeah, still hitting though. Alright, where are we hitting this time? Alright, this time we're hitting all around this other side. So, got more to go. Alright, we're going to grind it some more. You're not watching. Okay. Nice round hole going there, round dimple. If you cut too much, you get a hole, so don't cut too much. Technically, I don't need to be cutting deep like I am, but the cutter cuts that way. Okay, try it again. See what we get. Now we're not hitting. Pump cover staying where it belongs. Oop. Right there, I'm just barely touching one spot. So I'm putting pressure on this right now, so there's a lot of clearance in this body, so depending on where you're hitting on it. I'm shoving it this way right now, it makes it hit. Okay. Alright, so we're cutting a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the top. That's about it. Not too much. Let's do a little more grinding. So you got a big piece of porosity right there, hole right under there, but that's over in this area. These are just die casts, they're not super good quality. Should be enough now. Gotta remember there's no gasket on here. When you put a gasket on, you're gonna gain clearance, but we're doing a worst case scenario. Make sure it clears. So theoretically, that last cut I didn't really have to do, but I always like making sure I got plenty of clearance. move it around, not making any difference which way I go. Yep, that way I did finally hit something, barely. Oop. Pushing this way a little bit. Barely got a mark right there. Don't see anything anywhere else. Alright, I'm good with that. Doing correctly helps. There you go. I'm not really feeling in clearance, so the gears hitting on the pump body's not letting the shaft go up. So I'm good with that. With the gas gun, there shouldn't have any problem. At most, it might hit at some point and it would leave a little rub mark, but I doubt it. I think we got tons of clearance, so we should be good to go. So maybe a little slight mark right there, I'm not sure. Hole looks a little oval shape anyway, so there we go. So that's all ground out. It should be fine. So that takes care of a couple different problems on the pump. So now you can assemble a lot easier with the regular snap ring groove on there. You have a pair of 90-degree snap ring pliers. You can come in there from the side and put that clip in now. Okay, let's go over and look at the holder over here and see if there's any leakage. Well, it appears that the fluid has gone across the surface, but I don't see it down in the hole anywhere. So it etched away all the way across the whole pump and went down in the hole a little bit, the groove. But alright, well, that's not exactly what I wanted to see. The fluid mitigated, whatever. It flowed where it wasn't supposed to and screwed up my test. I'm not seeing any color down in that hole though. I think it's good. Alright, we'll do the test one more time, and this time make sure I don't have too much fluid in there. I screwed it all up doing that. But the tapered screw down the bottom of the hole, I see no liquid on it. So I think we're good. I'll try doing an air test too, but I don't think I'll be able to get in there with anything. Alright, so this pump should be all fixed now. Good to go.